Welcome to Sitcom Showdown, a podcast that reviews classic sitcom episodes and inducts them into our very own Hall of Fame. As usual, one of us has chosen a sitcom episode and the other guy has no idea what it's going to be. Will they already know it? Will they love it? Can they be convinced that it's worthy? Let's find out on Sitcom Showdown.
Welcome back, listeners. This is the first of our Christmas specials, and I'm pretty excited about it. What about you, Jeff?
Yep, I'm equally excited about it because to a certain extent it means that some of the rules don't apply.
Oh,
and it limits
how so?
our focus. Oh, well, in that, because we've got a limited focus and because it's Christmas, it might be harder to dig up 5-star Christmas episodes. And so we sort of get, with the limited focus of having fewer to select from, there might be some leeway.
I don't know. But I think you're right, it has focused us.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll see how we get on. Well, I've chosen Mr. Bean.
Oh.
In fact, Merry Christmas, Mr. Bean is the name of this episode.
Okay.
Yes, this is... Well, there aren't series.
Right.
There are no series.
Yeah, let's
to
go
Mr.
with that.
Bean. It's
I
just,
like that.
It's episode 7 of Mr. Bean. Also, for the people who don't know anything about Mr. Bean, I'm not sure there would be people that don't know Mr. Bean, but...
No, because you hear the stories internationally of how popular Mr. Bean is because it's got no dialogue. They've said, you know, we've walked into villages in the most remote places in the world and people are watching Mr. Bean.
He's everywhere.
On the communal television.
Yep, but assuming our listeners have just tuned in from another planet or something like that.
Yeah.
Mr. Bean is based on a character which was originally developed by Rowan Atkinson while he was studying for his master's degree at Oxford University. And Mr. Bean, the main character, is essentially a child in a grown man's body who doesn't consider the consequences of his actions. He gets himself into and out of tricky situations, usually causing mayhem. He rarely speaks, and the humour of the series is largely physical.
Oh,
So
that's totally accurate.
I don't know what you're going to do with the quote of the week.
Yeah.
Or quote of the fortnight this fortnight.
Who knows, yeah.
Must be something like that. That'll be it. So this was shown on the ITV network in the UK. And like I said before, there were no series, but there were 15 episodes in total from 1990 to 1995, and that includes one compilation episode.
Okay.
Which was the 15th one. So they cut that together from
previous
using
episodes.
bits and pieces of previous episodes.
Off cuts or bits that had appeared in the episodes?
I think it was bits that had appeared in the other episodes.
Okay.
So as we mentioned before, Rowan Atkinson is the main star, and he's pretty well known. We've talked about him before.
In Thin Blue Line.
In Thin Blue Line, exactly. Yeah. So what were some of the other things that he's done? Blackadder.
Not the 9 o'clock news.
Not the 9 o'clock news, yeah.
Johnny English movies. Are we including movies?
Yeah, why not?
All right, the Johnny English movies.
Yep.
I'm having difficulty thinking of anything else, which is strange because he's so high profile, but maybe because he's limited himself to small amounts of excellent quality.
Could be that. In this episode, a couple of other notable people, Jeff.
Ooh.
Owen Brenman, who plays, he's probably best known for being Victor Meldrew's neighbour in One Foot in the Grave.
Oh,
Yes.
I can picture him now.
The poor neighbour.
Yeah.
And we've also got Matilda Ziegler, who, I don't know if you're familiar with her other work.
No.
She was in EastEnders a long time ago.
Oh, really?
And Lark Cries to Candleford.
I've heard of that. I've never watched it.
This is written by Rowan Atkinson, Robin Driscoll, and I'm not going to discuss those two guys anymore, but Richard Curtis is the third person. And I just realised on the way here tonight that we haven't actually discussed Richard Curtis before.
No.
It's a bit of a mind blower.
But again, so Richard Curtis has done Mr. Bean, Vicar of Dibley.
Blackadder.
Ah, Blackadder. Okay, did he write that with Ben Elton?
Co-wrote it with Ben Elton.
Okay, that's what I'm missing then.
Yep.
Fair enough.
They're the big three sitcoms.
Aha.
And then movies.
Oh yeah, Love Actually, is that one of his?
Yep, that's one of his.
Is he the Four Weddings and a Funeral?
Four Weddings and a Funeral.
Yeah.
Notting Hill.
Notting Hill, of course.
We worked on Bridget Jones's Diary.
Oh.
And he did a very good Doctor Who. I'll compliment him on that.
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
Vincent Van Gogh one.
That was a cracker.
So what's your personal background to watching Mr. Bean, Jeff?
Ah, well, just catching it on the ABC when it was on here in Australia. And of course, if you'd enjoyed Blackadder in the late 80s and then Mr. Bean comes along, you're bound to watch it.
Yep.
And it's just terrific family fare and everyone can enjoy it.
my story's pretty much the same. I just saw it on original transmission.
Yeah.
And I think the repeats come around every now and then, so
Oh, yeah.
might catch it there as well.
Oh, do you own any?
Nope.
No, all right. Nor do I.
What does that say?
Maybe it says it's repeated so often that you don't need to buy it.
Yeah, perhaps.
Mm.
It's also on YouTube, which is why we're going to...
Okay.
That's where we're going to watch it tonight.
Right.
All right, well, let's go away and watch it now, and we'll be back shortly.
Okie dokie.
Okay, we're back.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit remiss of me, Jeff, not to mention that this episode was from 1992.
Okay.
It was an ITV Christmas special in 1992.
So it's the 25th anniversary of Merry Christmas, Mr. Bean.
Oh,
Me.
right.
Thank you.
Well done.
So very timely.
Of course,
You knew that the whole
definitely,
time.
yeah. Definitely selected it because of that. What do you make of the start of Mr. Bean, where there's like kind of singing going on and the light comes out of the sky and he drops onto the ground? What do you make of that?
I don't know.
Is it
a comment on his alienness? Is that what you were going to say?
Well, I thought it was either aliens bringing him back.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's been rejected by them or not.
Nah.
Or it's, he's being dropped out of heaven or something. Who knows?
Someone's probably done their PhD thesis on that.
Probably. There's probably some story to it. Anyway, Mr. Bean, wherever he came from, he's out and about and he's getting ready for Christmas. And he drives up onto the footpath in front of Harrods. Now, I think this is one of the things that shows the age of the show, because if you did it these days, people would probably be running for cover, and if there was a policeman around, you'd probably be in all sorts of trouble.
I reckon you're right, and that hadn't occurred to me at all, I must say.
Yeah, so that was funny, but looking at it through today's eyes, maybe a bit of a worry. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he's shopping for Christmas tree decorations, a Christmas tree, and a present for his girlfriend.
Right.
We'll see how well that goes later. On Christmas Eve, once the shopping is done, he relaxes at home, posting a last-minute Christmas card and listening to some carolers who come to his door. On Christmas morning, he wakes up very excited, going through the stockings for himself and Teddy, and later cooking a Christmas turkey for his girlfriend, who does not appreciate his gift selection.
No.
Is there anything to add to that?
No, that's the quickest synopsis in the history of this show.
Well, it's not like we have to sum up a whole load of dialogue or
No, that's true.
anything like that. And a lot of what happens is going to be covered in the jokes that we'll go through a bit later on.
But you did forget Mr. Mousy. So he's...
Yes, well, there's a stocking for Mr. Bean, Teddy and Mr. Mousy.
Yeah, who he's trying to kill.
Who he's trying to kill. In the nicest possible way.
After wishing him Merry Christmas really genuinely and nicely, and then puts the cheese in the trap.
Yeah. Yes. Well, what are the reasons why I think it's worthy of entry into the Hall of Fame? Well, I've got a list. Do you want to go first, or shall I run through this?
Well, I'll just point out a few things and go back to the opening bit where he just drives his car up, as you mentioned. And so in my notes, that's the first thing. Not only because it's the first thing you see, but also that straight away, if you've not seen Mr. Bean before, tells you who he is. So basically,
how's that?
Not a thought for anyone else. He hasn't got any malice. It's just that he sees what he wants and he just does it without thinking. And so he just drives up right in front of the door on the footpath and just parks there and goes directly in. And so, that tells you who he is straight away.
Yep. Well, a few thoughts here. This one is, like you said before, fun for the whole family.
Yep.
And we watched it together on Saturday, and everyone came and sat around and watched it, which is a pretty rare occurrence these days.
Every seat on the lounge suite would have been chock-a-block.
That's it. Except for the cats, they weren't there.
Yeah.
And another thing is that a lot of Christmas specials aren't very Christmassy, Jeff.
No, they've often got some sort of other plot and Christmas is in the background.
It can be as obtuse as it's snowing outside or something like that. Or Christmas is happening, but it's in the pushed away to the background. But it's not like that with this one.
No.
So I thought I'd go through the list of Christmas icons that we get throughout the episode. We get Christmas lights at Harrods and Christmas lights elsewhere. A nativity scene. We get Christmas carols, Christmas tree, Christmas cards, stockings, turkey and mistletoe.
Yep.
I might have missed some, but
Yeah, that covers all of
They
them.
were the few that I thought of. So I thought it was nice that a Christmas special covers all those.
Yeah. Sorry, in your
things.
list, did I miss Christmas crackers?
Yes, Christmas crackers.
They take front and centre in the second half.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll add that to the list then.
Okay, cool.
But it's not all Christmas fun though. He tackles some Christmas challenges as well.
Oh, yes.
And as we know, for those who are by themselves, Christmas can be a lonely time of year. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Bean, he posts some Christmas cards to himself and ends up by himself on Christmas Day. So there's some bittersweet laughs in there as well. And he, a couple of other things go wrong, of course. He misreads the signals that someone's given him about the present they wanted, which leads to an awkward situation. And then cooking the turkey goes wrong, and more about that later as well.
Yep.
And like you hinted at, he this episode's also got that typical Bean humour, which is him just not paying any attention to the consequences and creating mayhem and being kind of nasty in a innocent kind of way. So I'm thinking of things like the bit where he's in the town square and he notices that this pickpocket has been picking people's pockets.
While they stand around listening to the Salvation Army band.
Yeah, that's it. And he steps in, puts a stop to it, but he doesn't think to actually return any of the goods to the people they've got stolen from.
Oh, no, he gives them all to the Salvation Army. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, he gives them all to the charity.
He watched this kid take the money out of this lady's purse.
Yeah.
And 2 minutes later he gets it back from
The
the
kid.
pickpocket, but he doesn't give it back to the lady or walk around saying, whose jewels are these or anything like that.
Yeah, whose pearls are these and whose diamond ring is this? No, you're right. He just bungs it all in the charity box.
What's with that?
I don't know.
He steals the tree from the town square,
Oh,
and he does it right in front of two policemen who are wandering through. I don't know if you saw that, but
yes.
that's pretty funny. Anyway, there's loads of these kind of things. Have you got any other thoughts at this point?
Yeah, well, that was in my notes as well, and they did it in a very good way because, a clumsy director might have shown him sawing it down in mid-shot or something, but you've just got this wide shot of the Salvation Army band and the crowd in a semicircle in the town square listening to them. And in the background, you can just see this tree start to lean.
Yeah.
And then slowly, then you cut to it with him. Oh, he's clever enough to fell a tree without anyone noticing, but then tie it to the roof of his Mini, but he's not clever enough to unplug it.
No, and that kind of harks back to the previous act where he unplugs the Harrods Christmas lights.
To plug in this little set of...
to test out the Christmas lights that he's thinking about buying. Oh. And of course he pulls the plug out.
And all the lights in Harrods go out.
Yeah, that's it. There are a couple of big gags, I think, which are worth talking about in this episode.
Oh, yes.
And the first one of those, well, when was the last time we talked about turkey on Sitcom Showdown? Can you remember?
I can't remember.
It was in episode 8.
Okay.
Filthy Rich and Catflap.
I'm not remembering.
Richie's putting on his dinner party.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
For Tarby and the other
Yeah.
showbiz celebs.
That's right. I can remember a chicken and all the meat.
They go shopping and... Oh, was it not a turkey?
No, it was the chicken.
Oh!
That's why I got confused.
No. Oh.
Just after Richie says, look at this little lamb chop. It was probably once a pig gambling about in the mountains.
Oh, well, that was a bit of a fail.
And then he stuffs the frozen chicken down Eddie's trousers.
Yes.
And Eddie thumps him in the face. Let's not start talking about that or I'll recount the whole episode. But that's close enough, I think. A turkey and a chicken. I was reminded, sorry to interrupt, of I think it was a Christmas episode of Dad's Army. But the point of it is that chickens were hard to come by in the war, and there was a chicken that Mr. Jones got for Mr. Blewett for his golden wedding anniversary, 50 years or something, and then something goes amiss with this chicken, and then they end up having to knock on people's doors because some money was stuffed inside the chicken accidentally, they think, and it was Mr. Jones's life savings of trillions of pounds. And then they had to go and knock on people's doors looking for this chicken, and then his wife had already stuffed the chicken, and then they had to pull the stuffing out of this chicken and look at all this stuff. And Pikey left a glove in there with the stuffing and all that. So this sort of thing, yeah.
We could do a whole episode on
chickens.
Chickens and turkeys and stuffing the chickens and turkeys.
That's right.
And unstuffing them.
Yeah.
Well, this joke about the turkey was actually originally a much longer set-up joke where, as part of the town square situation in Act 2, he goes to a butcher which is having a free giveaway thing or a competition as part of his Christmas preparations, and you had to guess the weight of the turkey.
Right.
And Mr. Bean spots this as he's walking past, and he decides that he's going to win the competition by cheating in a very Mr. Bean way. So what he does is he goes off, then he comes back and stands in line to guess the weight of the turkey, and he's got a pair of scales.
Okay.
So what he does is he stands on the scales when the butcher gives him the turkey.
Yeah.
And then he gives the turkey back and sees what his weight is minus the turkey, and then he does the maths.
Yeah.
And guesses the correct weight of it.
Ah.
And that's how he gets the turkey. Anyway, we don't see any of that.
No, that would have been good, but what do you cut out to include that?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Tricky.
So that was the setup for the gag about the cooking of the turkey.
It works without that whole scene anyway, so...
Yes.
Nothing lost.
So, and as you're pointing out, how the dickens would you actually get this turkey into a normal-sized oven anyway?
But it was a brilliant turkey prop. I mean, whoever did the work for that, I thought it was very good.
They did well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Mr. Bean stuffing this massive turkey, and he loses his watch because he's getting his whole fist in there and putting the stuffing in. He loses the watch, and then he's trying to find the watch. And I love the bit where he gets the torch out and he's standing back and he's trying to see inside. Of course, he gives that up and ends up sticking his whole head in there. And just to that second, knock, knock, knock. Yeah. And it's not Filthy Ralph at the front door. It's his girlfriend who's arrived. So then he covers the turkey in a...
And he's staggering around the flat trying to find the front door.
Yeah. Yes, that's a classic. The other big joke that I wanted to mention was the gift situation.
Oh.
So, while they're in town, his girlfriend shows him this window display at the jewellery shop and points out this ring which has got a picture of a couple in love behind it. And so she kind of says, "Oh, look at this. That's fantastic."
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint. And he makes to go inside the shop, and she walks off and leaves him.
Yeah, and he makes it very clear that he's picked up on this because he taps the side of his nose and says, "Yep, tickety-boo."
Yeah, I know what to do. Anyway, so on Christmas Day, he pulls out a present which is the size and shape of a large envelope. And she looks rather bemused, but she opens it. And what does she find but the picture of the couple in love?
Yeah. Which she had pointed to.
She had pointed to, in fairness. But it wasn't what she wanted.
No.
And then they double down on this joke by... well, she's really upset, but Mr. Bean remembers that he's got another present for her. And to try and cheer her up, he pulls out the second present, which happens to be the size and shape of a ring box.
Yes.
Yes.
And we're all thinking, brilliant, well done.
He didn't completely stuff it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she opens it excitedly, and, the top of this thing inside the box looks like a ring, doesn't it?
Extremely ring-like.
Yeah, but then it's pulled out, and it's actually a picture hook. Mr. Bean proudly demonstrates how she could hang her new picture.
On her new picture hook?
On the picture hook.
Oh.
And as he goes to hang it up on the wall above the mantelpiece or whatever,
she storms out.
Yeah, you see this door close behind him. And that's it, he's done his dash.
But that was extremely well done because you're totally sucked into thinking he's absolutely got this ring and done all that, and then pulling it out and it's a picture hook that you're just going, oh no. Oh well.
I'm not sure how she stuck around after the turkey situation, though.
That's right.
And some small jokes.
Yeah.
The Dalek and dinosaur invading the nativity scene in Harrods. And you said that you thought that might have been a Richard Curtis joke.
With the Dalek.
Seeing as he's a Doctor Who fan.
Oh, for sure. And I've got it in my notes here, but, the thing I love about that is there's, I'd say, realistically, about 3 minutes of mucking about with this nativity set, making all the noises and the characters and everything.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you hear, dee, 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 and he's reversing this truck into it. And that's funny, I think, because everything else he was mucking about with the stuff, but it's all in its historical context. And then this modern thing comes in, and then he just ramps it up from there with the dinosaur and the Dalek and the tank and all these other things.
It goes on from there.
Brilliant.
Oh, I like the way he cuts the top off the enormous tree that he's brought home on top of the Mini. He's basically leaned it up against the side of his flat.
Right.
He's leaned out with a saw, cut the top off the tree.
Yeah.
And bunged that in his house. And then he pushes the rest of the tree over.
Not caring about it blocking the road or anything.
No, demolishes the fence when he does it.
Yeah, that's typical Mr. Bean behaviour. Totally oblivious. And the sheer wastage. Anyway.
Yeah, that's it. And then when the carolers have finished singing their carols, he gets up, walks over to the door with this box of chocolates, And does he offer it to them? Offer them a chocolate to say thank you for the nice Christmas carol? No, he just slams the door shut in their face.
Oh.
But the way they put that together is just genius because it makes you think that he's going to offer it to them, but
Yeah.
no, doesn't happen.
It's very, thank you, young crone. Here is a purse of monies, which I'm not going to give to you.
Exactly, but with less words.
Yeah.
And then the last one of the small jokes, which I really liked, was when he's got his Christmas stocking and he's reaching down inside to pull out the gift that's inside, and he pulls it out, but it's like the matching Christmas sock.
Yes. Yeah. That was unexpected.
That was genius. So there's that mix of big and small jokes that I really liked. And then there's, of course, being Mr. Bean, there's a bunch of physical humour in there. Like when he's conducting the Salvation Army band, he's doing it with his face. He's like doing these twitches and all this sort of stuff. And the musicians are following what he's doing. That's pretty funny. The bit where he's licking the Christmas card envelopes.
Oh.
When he's falling asleep listening to the Christmas carolers. When he jumps around on Christmas morning because he's so excited.
Yeah.
And he's gotten out of bed. And the last one is where his girlfriend's wanting to kiss under the mistletoe. And he's kind of puckering up to give her a kiss and his eyes twitching. And he's obviously doesn't really want to have a bar of this. He just wants to get his present.
Yeah. Which he does in a very sneaky way.
Yeah.
And then tears into the present.
Eventually remembers that he should probably give her...
Yeah.
Probably give her the present that he got for her. Well, that's got me to the end of my notes.
Oh.
Did you have anything else?
Well, I've got a couple left over. And talking about the conducting, they're a super tight band.
Yeah.
Because he's just waving this thing around and stopping and starting, not really knowing what he's doing. And they're nailing exactly to the millisecond every movement he's doing. So just brilliant musicians there. That was great. The gag wouldn't have worked if they weren't. But that whole scene went on for a while, and that was really, really good.
Yeah.
And sending the Christmas cards to himself really brought to mind that Christmas special of Bottom, which I did look at selecting. And Richie had written all these Christmas cards to himself. But unlike Mr. Bean, who obviously buys a new pack every year and writes out new ones, Richie just trots out the same Christmas cards every year. And Eddie's memorised what all these Christmas cards say in them. So, Merry Christmas, Richie, from all the lads on the Ark Royal, and all these sorts of things. So that was good. Oh, they must have pinched that from Mr. Bean, I would think.
When Richie does it, though, is it the same card from...
It's the same card every single year. Yes, and that's all I've got as far as my notes go.
Well, that brings us to the end then.
It does. But I might just add that, for all the jokes we've listed here, there's dozens more that we haven't listed. So it's well worth tuning in for.
Yep. Yeah, there's loads. I couldn't write them all down. What did you think?
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant. Okay.
It is.
Good. And it's quite Christmassy. I like that, like I said before.
So you've proposed it should go in the Hall of Fame.
So in summary,
yes,
is it going in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
it absolutely should do. I think it deserves it.
All right. That's a relief.
All right. So Mr. Bean's in.
Oh, okay. Good day.
Right. Well, next time it's my turn for a Christmas selection, and I'm not going to tell you what that is. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this one and look forward to the next one. And then it's going to be a 2018 with many more 5-star. Supposedly, sitcom episodes coming up.
I'm looking forward to 2018.
Yeah?
I've got lots of ideas.
Yes. All right, well, I hope you at home enjoy some Christmas sitcom action as much as we will. And yes, we will see you one more time before the end of the year.
Yeah. Or shoot us a message on Facebook.
Yes.
Or Twitter.
Or even via email.
Or via email. So many options.
Yeah, that's right. Details in the end credits.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Join us next time on Sitcom Showdown when we'll be putting another 5-star episode under the microscope. And in the meantime, you can contact us with feedback on Facebook, Twitter @Sitcom Showdown, or by email sitcomshowdown@gmail.com.